County Sheriff's Office lieutenant has been criminally charged.
51-year-old David Remacher retired from the Manitowoc County Metro Drug Unit earlier this year. According to the criminal complaint, an audit found several $1,000s worth of asset forfeiture funds weren't deposited into the accounts they should have been. Investigators found evidence bags with money in a safe that should have been deposited as asset forfeitures.
Investigators searched Remacher's workstation and found thousands of dollars that were not put into the evidence room. It's estimated some of the money was in his desk for almost 3 years. Remacher is charged with 1 count of misconduct in office, which carries up to 3.5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine if convicted.